Welcome back to the number one youth baseball podcast in the world.
In the
You
world.
are in the world. You are now listening to the Slide Podcast, and I'm your host, Coach Aaron, and I am joined by Coach Jen and Coach Allie. How are you two doing today?
Wonderful. How are you, Allie?
Another pretty good morning over here on the West Coast.
Yeah,
Aaron?
she just got up, and we're in the middle of our workday. And the
I
same for our
already had
guests.
breakfast, took the dog on a walk. I did my hair for once.
There you go. Productive morning.
Yeah, so far.
Hey, that's what happens when you have a little bit of slide in your life, is you become a lot more productive. So
And now we're here.
that's right. Well, very cool. So we have got an exciting guest today that's going to teach us a lot about travel baseball in a very positive light. But if this is the first time you're ever listening to the show, we want you to know that we're focused on youth baseball players, coaches, and parents. It is very important to us to see positivity out with our kids and seeing kids grow in a positive way. And so welcome to the Slide Podcast. So our guest today is Coach Justin. Justin joins us from Southern Oregon. I found Justin on TikTok, which I am still completely learning. So if anyone out there would be willing to help me, please email me, call me, text me, do something. Hit TikTok message me. I don't care. But anyway, so Justin, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I happened to stumble upon you on TikTok, noticed your videos, and your videos was a little different than what I've been seeing lately. It was more of a positive approach to things. It wasn't necessarily mocking or making fun of travel baseball. It was really, truly trying to help someone.
Yeah, well, basically, what I do is I started doing this to document basically the team.
Mm-hmm.
About January, we kind of slowed down because we're a year-round travel ball team where we practice year-round. We take 2 weeks off after Christmas and New Year, and we take 1 week off for Thanksgiving. This year, we're adding an extra week. We're going to take the 4th of July off, which is a great weekend to play travel baseball. It's normally a 4-game guarantee because you get that extra day.
Yep.
But we're taking it off and we're giving it back to the families because we play so much baseball. And that tournament on the 4th of July that we're going to back out of would have been our 12th tournament of the year. So just to give you an idea how many tournaments we play, we're going to be playing between 22 and 24 this year. We played 21 last year. And so in January, we don't play any tournaments. The boys they rest their arms. We have 9 kids out of 12 that pitch. They all rest their arms during the month of January. So they don't do any flat work or bullpen or anything like that because we're really into arm care. And then what happens is we gear up for the season. But in January, I started downloading all these photos and I came across a picture and I sent it to you. And I'm looking at it. And normally during the game, after the game, I have to ask my son, I said, hey, how'd you do hitting? Because I'm the hitting coach and I'm the third base coach. And when you're on third base, you're kind of the maestro of getting the boys moving around from first to second so you can get them into scoring position, so pass balls and that kind of stuff. So I'm not really like focused in on him and what he's doing. And so after every game, he always comes up and he tells me, I'm like, okay, yeah. And I can remember the hits. It's just that I'm constantly looking at the kids and trying to get them moving around the bases. So I come across this picture, and normally if you describe a situation, I can fill in the before, during, and after. And that's just on a normal conversation. But this one picture, I looked at and I went, okay, that was August. That was a Sunday game, our first game in bracket play against the Phoenix Town Bucks. But I have no recollection of it. There's me on third base. My son's on third base. And I can't fill in the front or the back of it. And I was just like, man, I can't be taking these pictures because we're in year 3 and we're going to take these kids all the way through 18U. And I can't remember this. It's a picture.
Yeah.
And so and it was only August to January. So we're only talking like 4 months. And so I was like, man, if I could only have a video. And then my brain spun and said, well, why don't you document with videos what you're doing? And I went, and then immediately I thought of storage space. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to buy a 200 terabyte solid state drive for my computer. My phone's going to get maxed out. And then I realized that social media saves all that stuff for you anyway.
Yep.
And so, of course, I started a YouTube channel so I could start putting all that stuff on there. And then I was just like, well, why not TikTok? Why not share this and create Travel Baseball Coach Justin? And then, and so I'm creating this thing for just Travel Baseball Coach Justin, even though I'm a hitting and third base coach for the Southern Oregon Generals. Because it's just, I don't know if the parents want me to have their kids in there and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I'm just doing this all about documenting the Generals, but anything that's posted on our Facebook page, I will reshare on my Travel Baseball Coach Justin page because it's already out there. Nobody's complaining and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
I really haven't gone to the parents to ask them if I can put them in videos and that kind of stuff. I'll wait till they kind of come to me is the way I'm going to do that. And
right.
Then, but the thing is I started this by just documenting because
Yeah.
I needed to see the videos, and the videos really, now when I go back to these ones, I think my first one was probably I've only been doing this for like 3 months now. And I go back to the first one and I'm like, wow, I'm glad I did this because I totally forgot about everything.
Yeah.
Anytime we travel, I make a map, and I do what's called OTRA, which stands for On the Road Again. And of course, I play Willie Nelson's song On the Road Again.
Perfect.
Over that homage, and I call it OTRA hyphen and then where we're headed. And then about 20 seconds in, I do a map to show you the distance and the time it takes for this travel that these boys do. I usually take a picture, if it's
That's
just
awesome.
me driving.
Yeah.
I usually have my son do it, but if, a lot of times me and my pitching coach, we both have daughters, and our wives are taking them. We're usually in 2 different cities a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been riding together. And so I'll take a little shot of him, and then the boys are just, just hanging out in the back. They're either on their switches or whatever devices that they have.
Of course.
And then I usually take a nice, beautiful shot of what we're traveling by. And the first one of those was headed down from Southern Oregon to Reno in February. We were in this valley as you cross the California into Reno, and you have mountains on both sides, and you're in this valley, and they're just all snow dusted, just new fresh snow, and
Wow.
bright sunny morning as we're going in, probably around 11 a.m. And so I just go, oh, this would be great. Why don't I just show everybody what we're doing? And that was my first On the Road Again, and it was a hit. So I was just like, all right. And so then I did a Saturday pool play, and then I do a recap after that. So what we did, hey, we're gonna face these 2 teams, and then I do a recap. Hey, we won 2, we split it, we lost 2, whatever it is, and then I do Sunday bracket. So
wow,
anyway,
you got
so
a whole process built. That is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm taking notes right now.
Every now and then I'll do a funny video or a life hack. I did a life hack on. It was actually at the Reno tournament. I did a life hack on smuggling in your protein, your cheeses.
I saw that.
And so I drink, I'll cover up the name, but I drink like 200 milligrams of soda water, 200 milligrams of caffeine. I'm a coffee guy. So I got my coffee. I've got my little whatever. I'll cover up the logo. And then I go straight to soda water. And if you look at one of my funny videos, it's called I Drink a Lot. That was my very first video out there. And so I go over that. But I do a couple travel hacks. And that one travel hack of smuggling stuff into a ball bucket, has over 364,000 views right now. And
that's crazy.
That in February. And for like 2 weeks, it got up to 1,000 real quick. And then it just shot up 15,000 in like 2 hours. And I was like,
wow,
what's going on here? And so I was thinking maybe travel hack and the spring break was starting to happen. I'm thinking, I can't figure out these algorithms on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or whatever. It's just,
I can't either.
There's, in my mind, I'm really good at pattern recognition. There aren't any patterns.
Well, that's it. And
I think it's constantly changing.
Yeah,
right.
I think from what I've heard, it's so hard to predict Instagram now, where TikTok, it's a little bit easier to control, but I still hadn't figured TikTok out. So Instagram, I feel like I got a better grasp on than what even TikTok is. So,
well, it's all about the hashtags and all that, but your video, you probably had a couple of travel parents try the hack and it worked, and all of a sudden sent it to every single person on their team, and that's how that one spread.
Yeah.
That, or it got onto like a travel website, like a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody posted, hey, take a look at this, or somebody big with like 300,000 followers or something like that. And all of a sudden, a percentage of theirs. I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know.
If you figure it out, you let me know.
Hey, if you figure something out, we'll do a swap. How's that?
There we go.
One for one, win-win right there.
There we go. So now travel ball, you haven't been in travel ball your I guess we would say your adult life. You're relatively new to it, right?
Yeah, my daughter, I have a 14-year-old daughter. She's been playing travel ball since she was 9.
Okay.
So that puts 5 years, I guess, of experience and stuff in there. And then my son, he just, he's 11 now, so he's 3 years younger. And he was on like 3 teams. He was on his little league team. He was on the Phoenix Talents Bucks travel team, and then he was on a team called Gas House here in Southern Oregon. He was on all 3 of those teams at one time. So of course, during the little league season, and then down to 2, and then he ended up practicing with the Southern Oregon Generals, who were a 14U team at the time. And because my business owner's son was on it, and so his son Kyle would be like, "Hey, Adler, get over here," and he had hit off the tee and everything. And then all of a sudden, the head coach of the Generals, Antonio Garmendia, he grabs him, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And he's just like, I'm practicing baseball." He goes, "Do you like baseball?" And he goes, "No, I love baseball." And Antonio goes, "Ooh, I'm starting my next travel team around this kid right here." And so I knew Antonio from before, since this was, I think, the 5th year that Kyle was on the team, because I'd show up and hang out with Kyle's dad and talk to Antonio and everything. And so that happened when my wife took him to the ballpark. And so he's like, "You his mom?" And so my wife's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm starting a travel team around him." And she's like, "Okay, well, we're already on 2." But we knew about the Generals. I never thought we would be able to do a travel team around Adler and the Generals.
Right.
Antonio doesn't have a kid on the previous team or this team. And so, which makes it really nice. All the boys love him. And so whenever I need my son to do something, I just tell Antonio and he gets to do it. But what happened was the very next practice, I came up and I knew that they were going to be practicing on Thursday. And Adler was heading to one of his travel team practices. And I was about 20 feet back. And Antonio goes, "Adler, come over here." And so I kind of walk up behind him and put my hand on his shoulder. And Antonio goes, "Is this your son?" And I'm like, "Yes." He goes, "No way." I go, "Yep." He goes, "I'm starting a team around him." I said, "Good." He goes, "All right, you need to find me players." And he turns around and walks into the field and leaves me alone. And I'm like, "What? I have to find team players?" I'm like,
It sounds like a movie.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm like sitting here going, I just got ordered to do something. And I have to do it. And so I'm like going, oh, I'm like, well, hey, it's for my son. And long story short, it was hard to find 9U players that wanted to travel to Portland. That's about 4 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
Bend, which is 2.5, Klamath Falls, sorry, is only like an hour and 15 minutes, and Reading is south of us is 2 hours and 15 minutes. But we have a nice complex. It's called Lithia and Driveway Fields. Before that, it was U.S. Cellular Fields.
Okay.
Lithia and Driveway just bought the rights to it 2 years ago. So if you've ever been there, you may know it as a different ball field. Okay. But it's right there off of I-5 at the Medford exit 28. And there's 18 fields, soccer and baseball, softball. 1 through 9 are all baseball and softball. And then the rest of them are soccer and football. And it's huge. It's all turf.
That's cool.
And the tournaments, they're awesome. You don't pay to get in.
What?
Yeah. No, it's just. We used to. COVID got rid of that. So.
How did COVID get rid of gate fees?
Well,
this should be a headline right here. Instead of all
the travel hack.
I know.
Well, I got another hack. So COVID, they would give each team 24 passes. So the boys could come in, and then coaches took up 3 of the passes. Mm-hmm. And then 21 passes went to parents of the players. And I'm like, this ain't right. So magically, we had as many passes as we needed. And so, without going into detail. And so I just told parents and I said, spread out. This is a big complex. Go down the first baseline, go down the third baseline, just spread out, walk between fields and that kind of stuff. And they did. And so our team never really was affected, and they did a good job spreading out that it didn't look like we had more players or parents in the facility than needed. So,
All right. Well, man, I'm gonna tell you that's what I hear more times than not about travel ball, and I'm working on building some tournaments um, myself with a couple partners, and that was the one thing that we took away from some of the surveys that we did was gate fees because
well,
it's crazy.
there's one other thing. I don't mind gate fees, but the stay and play is a lose for me.
Yeah.
Um, because you call up and you find out, oh, they're charging us $40 more than just calling up. And so that's $80 per room, and multiply that by 12 players rooms. I mean, you're at an extra $500. You know what? Just charge me 500 more for the tournament fee, and we're good. But to do stay and play. Oh, but the local teams, they don't have to stay. They got their house there and everything like that. They're
Yeah.
dwelling or whatever, and they don't have to pay. And the stay and plays, I have 10 tournament organizations now. I've got 2 that do stay and play, and next year they're off our list because we have 8 other organizations, and I'm getting more.
So what's the downside to the stay and play? I mean, it gives you a location that's central, I would assume, in most places. Allie, you was making some faces there. What was that
Yeah.
about?
So I mean, like, I don't like the state of play policy either, unless the hotel is at the ballpark, right? Like if I'm walking
it's
out
okay,
of my
Justin. We
hotel
have
I
room,
know,
Oh, you
Justin.
don't
Just
care
show.
about what I drink?
no,
No.
Okay.
we have all
I
kinds
got
of
my Red Bull
play.
addiction.
All
It's
right. There
okay.
you go.
Go ahead, Allie. I'm sorry.
Celsius, yeah. No, I mean, like if the fields are at the same place as the hotel and I can walk out of my room, get
Yeah.
breakfast, go right to batting practice, then go to the field, I'll pay the extra $40-$50 for
Oh,
stay to
same
play.
here. Total
But if
agreement.
you're now gonna reserve all the hotels in town for your tournament and force people to pay more because you get a kickback or because the town needs the extra money, like we're gonna stay there anyways. Help us get there so that we can play and spend more money in your town and on your organization. Like, I
So
don't know.
I noticed that the stay and plays do not fill out their tournaments as much as the ones that don't have it. And
Okay.
so therefore I know it's affecting the tournaments to fill up. A lot of times you play 8 teams depending upon how many fields you have per 10U, 11U, 12U, 13U. But sometimes they'll do 12 depending upon how many teams sign up. But when you do stay and play, I noticed that there aren't any 12 team tournaments. It's all 8 or 6, or you get people backing out, and then all of a sudden you're in a 4-team tournament, which is just a weekend round robin, as I call it.
Yeah.
So, which is fine. It's you're still playing ball, and the boys are going through the experience of traveling however far we go and that kind of stuff. So
Can
yeah.
you explain what stay and play is for those people who are listening that may not know what that is?
Yeah, so stay and play is you join this tournament organization and you want to be in this tournament that they're hosting for a certain weekend at these fields. And when you do that, they ask you to either reach out to a third party that handles a block of rooms for that weekend for a group of different hotels. And so what happens is you get to choose, but each hotel, if you choose it, they add a rip. A rip is means reduction or reduction in profit, but it's so if the room's normally $150, which if you can find a room right now for $150, I'm gonna update it for inflation. If a room's $210 a night, they'll add $30, 25 for up to $40 onto that room fee by getting this block of rooms, right? And so then that money, that difference in the room fee or the cost of the room, usually goes to the tournament organization. And I'm all for tournament organizations making money and profiting, but it's just it seems sneaky, and that's the reason I was like, put it into your tournament fee. So
Right.
so here, and you don't have to put all of it. So if you have some local teams, right, and if it works out that all my away teams need to pay us, let's say it was $480 they were going to get at $40 a room time. Oh wait, that's actually 960 for the weekend. That's an extra grand, right? And you have 4 of those, that's 4 grand divided by 8 teams. Yeah, that's an extra $500 for the tournament.
Right.
So spread it around, because maybe some of these local teams who don't travel will be like, you know what, why don't we just travel? And
Right.
and so because it's, I mean, travel ball is expensive, and there's a cost to it, and we all participate at different levels. And so I don't know, just stay and play just rubs all the parents right. It's the number one complaint I get.
I
It's like,
could see that. I could see.
yeah,
I see. I would thought it would have been more like, hey, we got this block of rooms, and it's cheaper if you go this
Yeah,
route.
you would think so.
Like,
You
yeah,
would hope so, but most places that doesn't help the organizers of the tournament or
I get
the
all
team that's
that.
hosting that
That's
tournament in
that's
Right.
why
any
you put
way.
it in the tournament fee instead of at the hotel.
Yeah.
right. And you know what? If a hotel chain was smart, they'd offer that discount, but not, but then charge the same rate without giving a discount, and give whatever that discount to the tournament organization.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you
I
go.
mean, if they were going to do that discount, bill me full, because if I call up, that's the same price I was going to get
Yep.
anyway. Give that discounted amount to the tournament director, and that's a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not on the bad end of the stick there. I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah. Imagine
learned
stay and
something.
play and then gate fees.
Yeah. Well, look, my daughter was in competition dance and cheer, and that's just that's another episode on another show. But yeah, I know I have a little experience in that world. So let me ask you a question, Justin. So we get this question a lot. When should my kid go to travel ball?
That's easy. When they want to play competitive baseball.
Okay.
So a lot of times you'll have kids wanting to join travel ball because their friends are there, and that's not a bad reason. But the thing is travel ball, typically there's tryouts and kids getting cut.
Yep.
And usually it's the parents that have the harder time than the kids, because the kids know they talk at school. They form their own little society and that kind of stuff at school, and so they know that there's cutting and that kind of stuff. For us, we went through our last tryout in November, and we're just going to take this team all the way through 18U. And if we lose a player to moving or not being interested in baseball anymore, we have our eyes out, and we'll just go, hey, you, and would you like to play? So we don't have a tryout anymore. We're just gonna, which is nice for us. But the question was, when's a good time? When they want to be competitive.
Okay.
So that way, it's the motivation's coming from the player.
Well, and I think what we have to be very clear and distinguish is when the player is ready for competitive play.
Yeah, we hit on that yesterday.
Yeah,
with,
not when the parents are ready for competitive play.
Right.
Because I see that being real, right?
Oh yeah.
I see and I hear, well, we're not getting any competition this year in rec ball. But then I look at, little Johnny, and little Johnny is barely keeping up with, what's going on around him here. Like, I feel the frustration with some, but some of them need to reflect back and say, hey, what is my kid ready for?
Right. And then there's also that transition of whatever level of ball that they're playing. Well, let me give you my example of all the levels of baseball.
Okay.
They're all great, and I'm going to tell you why. Because every player that's out there is at a certain level of skill set.
Okay.
And I remember when we were 9U, we started as a 9U team, and some kids were playing Little League and other kids were not. And they're like, oh, Little League's for this, that, and the other. I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Timeout. We had a little meeting, and we go, boys, I go, Little League is a perfect. I played Little League.
Yeah.
I didn't have travel ball back in 1985, 86, 87. So I would love to play travel ball, but Little League is perfect. It's a perfect organization. It just does everything right. And then if you want to be more competitive than that, I mean, you go to the Little League World Series, you got competitive teams, right?
Very.
So so when I heard the boys say this, they kind of had like this little hierarchy in their little society that they had there.
Yeah.
And I broke that. I go, guys, here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to be a year-round travel ball team. And we started July of 2020. And so our first tournament wasn't until March of 2021.
Oh,
So
wow, okay.
they had a long time to play together. We scrimmaged other 10U travel ball teams, and we were beating them. And these boys knew that they were pretty decent. And so you get that pecking order in human society, and we had to squash that. Because we'd be like, well, the kids would be like, wow, that 10U team wasn't that good. And I was like, whoa, round up again, sit down. Boys, every team is at a different level of development.
Yep.
There's not great teams and bad teams. There's just developed teams. And it's on a spectrum. Hey, they just started out, what do you call it, in February, March. And here we are beating up on them. I go, you guys have been playing since July.
Right.
Give them 3 more months, and it's going to be a different ball game out there.
Yep.
So we really instilled that in the boy. We don't even hear it anymore. And so, which is really good because they don't think about, oh, this is a really good team. Oh, this is a really bad team, that kind of stuff. They're just like, oh, okay. And what I tell them is I say, hey, if we're playing a team that you think's easy, work on a skill set in the defense or in the offense that you can do.
Yeah.
Because the pitching isn't as good or the team isn't as good, but just work extra hard at it. And so they do that. And so sometimes I'll have a kid come up to me and go, hey, this is what I'm going to do against this team. I'm like, great, do it, And so they're starting to kind of come around. They're 11. No more squirrels. They're not doing this anymore.
No sandcastles in the outfield. That's right.
Yeah.
So Allie, Coach Allie, she runs a travel ball team, and she does it really throughout the country. Allie, tell him a little bit about what you got going on and how it's maybe similar or different.
Oh, he froze.
Who did?
Frozen Aaron. That's a good shot of the sweatshirt, though.
Did I freeze?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
So I run a nonprofit called Ball Girls Baseball Corporation. Our objective is to give girls in baseball opportunities to play, grow, learn, and develop within the game, on the field and off the field. I work as a Dodger ball girl on the field with the Dodgers, and then I also work with their training academy to kind of teach the kids as well as do some coaches clinics, run some batting practice events. So we try and create opportunities around the country and see what girls can make it. It's not necessarily always the same team that plays, and that's our struggle. But our focus is really just connecting the girls. So if you have any girls in Oregon, let them know. But are you hopping on like a chartered bus and driving these kids everywhere, or are you expecting a couple of your coaches to pick up a couple kids here and there and bring them all together? Like, how does that work for you?
For our team?
Mm-hmm.
Our team, well, the parents drive the kids. So I remember after 9U, we were going into 10U, and Antonio always gives this speech every year how everything's going to run. So they all hear it from his mouth, and it's not different every year. It's the same speech. I could probably give it to you right now. But the thing is we're going to take these boys through 18U.
That's
and
awesome.
If it happens that, and then they're going to play high school baseball for sure, without a doubt. We're going to take those 2.5, 3 months off. Boys are going to go to their high schools. They're going to play ball, but after that, they're coming back, and we're traveling again. And and you asked if we did a charter or not. No, the parents drive all the kids, so the parents know what the costs are. We're at $3,000 a year. But you're getting 22 tournaments. You're getting Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday practices year round. So
that's not
that's
not that bad.
We don't take any money. We Antonio takes no money, and so we just donate our time. We have a pitching coach who pitched at Texas A&M for 3 years. We have a first base coach, infield coach, whose brother is in the big leagues, who's Seth Brown. He's my last podcast guy I did.
Okay.
And so and then Antonio, we just have really great coaching all around. And what's nice is that we've actually had other travel teams go, can we come to your practice? Because you guys are doing something different. We're like, yeah, come on. And so we've had a couple, and they watch, and the thing that they always say is none of your boys are standing around. They're not idle.
Right.
Because we get them. Antonio runs the structure and everything. And so Jason, who's our pitching coach, has his plan for the day. I usually have a plan unless Antonio says, hey, we need to work on this, and I know exactly what to do. And then he tells Dan, our fielding and first base coach, this is what's going to happen. And then he just kind of walks around looking at the different kids that need to work on certain skill set and reinforcing, work harder, you're not giving your effort, that kind of stuff. And then sometimes he'll take a set and it'll be just 3-3-3-3. But the boys are constantly working. And what's really funny is anytime we finish at about 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes, the boys are like, that's it? Because normally
they're moving.
We go 3. And they're like, why we quit stopping so soon? And we're just like, it's okay. It's sometimes you just need to not practice 3 hours in a day.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Well, see, you know what? And I think that right there answers a lot of questions for parents. Like when you go sign up for a travel ball team, what's their plan? Like, do they have a plan for development? And it sounds like, I applaud you guys for the cost, the nonprofit approach to it. And I think that's where there's all this bad connotation that circles travel ball, is because you see the other extremes. And that's where parents are learning these horror stories from. And it's like, how do we teach parents all over the country to make sure that they choose the right organization for their kids? And that's the $1 million question.
Well, always investigate the team that's being derided for any reason. Usually that's so for me, the 5 years that I've seen travel ball in our Medford Rogue Valley area and elsewhere is typically whenever somebody has a bad experience, their kid's not playing as much as the parents thought that they should be playing. Their expectations don't meet reality. You got to remember, sometimes cliques form humans. Yeah. I mean, some people still live in junior high school, whatever that is. And so they'll have a bad experience, not because the team's bad. They just, personalities didn't fit.
Yep.
And so then when they break away from the team, sometimes the parents feel like they need to say stuff about the team, and that's why they left. You don't need a justification to leave the team. Just say, hey, my kid wasn't playing enough. Be honest. Just
right.
Or I think my kid is better suited over here. Because a lot of times I'll see kids and I'll hear things, and if I know them real well, I said, hey man, what's up? And why'd you leave? Oh, I like that team, but I just wasn't playing. And so I get the real reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a right fighter, so it's like when I hear things, then I want to say, well, I talked to so-and-so and he just said he wasn't getting enough playing time. So
right.
Then he wasn't having fun, but he liked the team. Well, he likes his teammates. They go to school together. They, so it's like, so a lot of it just has to, Little League has the same problem. They absolutely do. I saw it in Little League too, where my kid's not getting enough playing time. Why isn't he the first or second batter? And
why is he in the outfield?
Yeah, he's in the outfield. I mean, and so travel ball is just another different development level of baseball.
Well, it seems as a lot. It's parents really need to understand what they're getting themselves into as well. Like when you enter a world of that's you're anticipating a more competitive environment, that means your kids are going to be challenged more. Yes, you're going to be challenged more. And if you anticipate that, then I think the transition's easier. But if you just assume you're moving from a rec ball league, little league, into a team that plays more and practices more, now it's a whole different beast than what it is. Allie, like you were wanting to say something.
I was going to say, it's great that they like their friends and they're cool with their teammates, but travel ball isn't there for friendships. Right. I got started in travel fast pitch, not because my mom took me to a tryout. My best friend's dad took me to a tryout with my best friend, and I ended up getting asked to play, but my best friend didn't. Yeah. And so my mom was then like, well, I guess we're going to drive 30 miles a day and I'm going to pay these prices. But at that point we were paying for the coaching.
Right.
Travel ball wasn't what it is now. Now you're paying for the name on the jersey to get recruited to college or to go to specific tournaments around the country sometimes, so The coaches that are volunteering really get it, and a lot of the coaches that don't have kids really get it as well.
You're right. So that's what I was saying, is that there's different levels of development. There is the pay to get the name and to get, go to Perfect Game, go to USSSA, showcase tournaments and that kind of stuff. Of course, that's, 13, 14, 13 is really too young, to be honest with you. There's so much more growth but they do showcases as young as 13, I saw. But, 15, 16, 17, yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to be doing. We will be traveling, probably Florida, all over the United States. I know that we're going to be doing that. I'm working on a plan to get the financing in place right now, because we're only 4 years away from 15U. So, but you're right. There has been a lot of kids, Allie, in your case, where they bring a friend, the friend makes it, and they don't. I mean, hopefully you kept your friendship, and then the parents didn't look at you any differently. But that, again, right there, all of a sudden, and I'm going to use this as a not hypothesis, but
hypothetical situation.
Hypothetical, thank you. And say, well, let's just say that parent was now mad, like, oh, travel ball, blah blah blah, and then they just start saying this about travel ball because their kid didn't make it.
Yep.
So it's so a lot of times I try and suss out why are they really saying it, and I've talked to parents too. I'd be like, okay, why are you deriding this team? Because I know the coach. I know I'm friends with every coach in the Valley and every coach we play. I'm the third base coach, and I love it when we're on the first base dugout side. I always run up. I make eye contact with every parent as I walk by their bench. It's just something I do. I look them in the eyes. And then
all right, now that could be perceived as like, are you trying to intimidate?
With a smile.
Oh, there we go.
With a smile, yeah. And
I'm looking in their
you're right. It could be
souls.
like off-putting. No, that's not my goal. And then some of it, I play in my head like, that's the one who's going to be hollering at the umpire.
Yep.
But
I know
then
that.
I go
I know
up to
that.
all the coaches. I shake their hands. I try and get their names. I try and remember their names, but I usually get a phone number, because if I want to scrimmage them, I want to be able to, and that's what I say. I say, hey, can I get which of the three should I get a phone number on so we could scrimmage later in the season? And so then I put everybody under coach hyphen the team name and then the coach's name. So that way, when I pull up all my coaches, I just type in coach, and then there's my list. So
I love it.
There's a travel hack for all coaches.
I love it. Dude, I do that. Like, so all of my contacts are labeled very specific in order like that, so I can get down to the person I need to find. So that's a life hack.
Umpires are the same way for my scrimmages. I just type in UMP, and there's my list of about 14 to 15 of them.
Nice.
So
that is awesome. Jen, what questions you got? So Jen is our commish for our softball league. She loves it.
Yeah, he has to bring that up every time. No, I've enjoyed the conversation. I'm interested in looking at your Instagram at your hacks. So is there what's been the best travel ball hack that you've found so far, like that really has truly helped you guys along the way? Is there something with the bucket? What's the bucket one?
Okay, so the bucket one is I work out and I have a special diet, and those concession stands cannot take
No way.
Okay. So a lot of times I bring in these things with 200 milligrams of caffeine. I love caffeine. The kids ask too many questions at such a young age. The same questions.
Cheers.
I need to caffeinate.
Yeah.
I need to caffeinate. That's the only, and I can't go the other way with alcohol, because I'd be thrown out of every game and the parents wouldn't like it, right? So I chose this drug of choice called caffeine. I actually made a video about it called I Drink a Lot. But yeah, you asked me. Oh, so
The bucket.
so I want to bring these in. I want to bring in usually soda water. This is another one. This is just an off-brand seltzer water. I like seltzer waters. I don't like any of the high fructose or sugars and anything like that. And I eat a lot of protein. Like, I got a video where I go in between game snack, and it's just me eating a chunk of tri-tip from the night before, And so my wife's like, "Why did you do that?" And I was like, "I'm giving other coaches ideas. Come on,
Yeah,
roll."
Yeah.
And so I do that. I put that in there, and I eat cheeses, all sorts of proteins. And so you don't get that from the concession stand. And so we were down in Sparks, Nevada at the Golden Eagle Complex. If you ever go there, play there. I love it. It's a nice place, both softball, baseball, and everything. They hold national adult slow pitch softball tournaments there all the time.
Oh, wow.
And they said we can't bring in coolers. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'll make a travel hack. So I before the game, I drove down to Dick's and I bought Dick's bucket. And I'm like, I got to get my proteins in because because we have back-to-back games. I can't leave. Yeah. And it started, I think, 11-1. So it's, I just had breakfast. It's going to push me through. So I did a little planning. And so I put that in there. I was like, you know what? Just make this a travel hack. And what was really interesting is in the email, it says, you can't bring in coolers. And then it put comma, however, you can bring anything that you can put into a cooler into a bucket. And I went,
yes.
What? So what I did is I made it look like a travel hack, which it is. But these guys were cool with whatever you brought in. Obviously not alcohol because they sell alcohol there. But
what?
You could put it in a bucket and take it in. So it's like, I'll make it a travel hack. And you know how many people are like, oh, great, give the tournament commissioner or whatever director a reason why we can't do things now. And I'm like, yeah, like you ever did this. I didn't fire back that, but I had like 6 naysayers out of 364,000 people. So
there's
to
just
give
always
you like the small amount of people who are like, who are viewing that going, hey, you gave away a sneak. And it's like, it really wasn't a sneak. They actually told me to do it.
Yeah.
So well, I just turned it into a video.
You found 6 tournament directors that were like, damn, he's an exposed us.
Yeah. There were ones better than mine that they comment on. Oh, you know what I did? I took my son's old travel baseball bag and fitted it as a cooler, and I walk in with it with his old bat and everything. They never look because
that's a perfect idea.
Dragging it in. Meanwhile, her kid walked in 2 minutes ago with his regular travel ball. I was like, that one's genius.
Yeah. You know what?
Saves you money. You're paying gate fees, so you might as well save a little bit of money at the concession stand.
Yeah, and not get sick in between games.
No gate fees at Golden Eagle Complex. No gate fees there. So
that's good stuff.
On the West Coast, we're starting to see gate fees go away. We are. I just noticed that this year. It's like,
wow,
gate fees are. I think people have complained enough. Now at Big League Dreams, I don't know if you guys have that on the East Coast or not. I think you do. Where they make these stadiums look like Yankee Stadium.
Oh, I've seen pictures. I don't know that we've got any near where we are.
Yeah, we have one in Reading. We have a couple in California and that kind of thing. Al, you know Big League Dreams, right?
Yeah, we got a bunch in SoCal.
They're all gate fees. So
like $7.
Yes. Yeah. And they give you a little token though, $1 off token for food or drink. I know. Hey, see the eye roll? I love it.
You know what? But
I used to save up those tokens because I played slow pitch. So like you go rolling in with your bag and they're checking our bags.
Yeah.
They're checking them for alcohol, right? But I do the same thing. I bring in a little protein bar and they're like, hey, no outside food. And you're like, are you kidding me? But you don't sell protein bars. Like,
right.
But the $7 gate fees every single day. I'm playing there 4 days. That's now $28. And I can buy a $4 soda. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think there's going to be a new breed of youth baseball that's going to come in and change everything. I just have this inclination about. So, hint.
And I'm all fine paying gate fees if they're redoing the fields in between games and the fields are really nice and they have extra amenities. The bathrooms are clean. But when I'm going to the bathroom at the end of a Saturday tournament and there's no toilet paper, and I just paid 3 days of $7 gate fees, like
in a porta potty.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. So there's pros and cons.
Yeah, there's they don't charge gate fees either. I was gonna say there's a nice complex in Eugene. It's 10U distance and 11/12U distance. So 50/70 and then 45/65. And it's all dirt and grass. It is immaculate. It's Willamette Valley Babe Ruth is who has that, but it's like the Howard complex, and they in between every game, that dirt, it has a grass infield on both 10U and the 11 and 12U, so which is really great because our boys don't see a lot of that. So usually just softball dirt or turf, and this is real grass. They mow it down Thursday, Friday before the tournament, and it is immaculate. And they don't charge gate fees. If they charge just a gate fee right there, I would totally be like, yes.
I would too. Yeah, because then you start to see where the money is being invested in.
Correct.
And when you show up to the same complex and it's still in the same situation, missing lights, speak from it.
Scoreboards that don't work.
Scoreboards that don't work.
Yeah.
And
I just don't want to get like a bad hop on game 3 of the day because they haven't dragged the fields, you know,
Right.
like
well,
there's 12 games going on the same field in one day. There's got to be some watering and drag. So.
Oh yeah. Well, you could see me out at some baseball fields with a landscaping rake going over the infield just because I'm trying not to have a player hurt. So, and then I'm telling the infielders like, you got to watch this area here. Like, I can't fix this area. Like, yeah. I mean, see, that's the stuff I pay for. Like that, but yeah, it's a hard thing to ask for sometimes.
I don't know. You guys got turf fields up in Oregon?
Yeah, we do. That whole Lithia driveway fields is all turf. And then as you head north from Portland through Seattle, every high school has turf. Some have dual, some have turf and dirt. Some of these complexes, I went to Sherwood High School in I think it's in the Three Rivers League up there, but it's just southwest of Portland. And they have it looks like a college campus. They redid the whole high school within the last 10 years, and they have 2 softball fields, a dirt and a turf, and they abut each other. And then the baseball fields are down below, turf and dirt, and they abut each other. And it's like,
wow.
I guess JV gets the dirt field on rain day.
Yeah. Hey, at least they got something. That's pretty awesome to have that.
Oh yeah, and the reason why I bring up that one is because when we went there, I was like, Adler, this is where Adley Rutschman played high school baseball. He's like, really? I'm like, yep.
Wow.
So,
the kid cool. With the Orioles. I like it.
Yep. Oregon State.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Well, Justin, what do you want to leave us with? What do you want to tell parents, players, coaches out there from your experience of being a travel ball coach? How can they help themselves?
Ooh, okay. If you have a question, ask. Always ask, and you can start with the parents, but ask the coach that one coach who has who talks to the parents. That's a big one. For us, between Jason, Dan, Antonio, and I, we will actually tell kids to take a week off, and they won't even know. We'll just be like, dude, take a week off. I don't want to see you on Thursday. I don't want to see you Sunday. I don't want to see you Tuesday. I want to see you next Thursday, and just take a whole week off. And they're like, why? I still want to play. It's like, dude, you've been dragging the last 3. I go, it seems like mentally you're tuned out. So you need to allow the kid to miss, because believe me, when they come back after a week, I mean, they're literally the next practice, they're chomping to want to be in practice,
bouncing,
but we won't let them. And so when they do come back, you see this level of attention and everything just rise, and they're on that cloud 9 for a good month or 2. And so, or unless they have a really great game or something like that. But that's the other thing, is that for travel ball coaches, recognize in your players when they've had mentally enough or physically enough.
Got it. That's a great one. I think that's great. Any final questions, Jen, Allie?
I was just going to say, I think you hit on something earlier that we didn't touch much on, which was arm care. So,
oh yeah,
parents are out there and you think that your kids are throwing too much, or their arms are hurting after 2 games of baseball or softball, please speak up. That is not something to play around with. And I treat multiple athletes who are in that position right now. So please speak up.
Can I talk a little bit about arm care?
Yeah, please.
So where do you get it? Okay. So what's really, right. There are people that know. I don't know. The one I stay away from pitching, other than like hip mechanics that mirror baseball mechanics. If I see a kid they're not rotating the hip or whatever, I said, Jason, more hip or something like that. He usually goes, I know, I'm just trying to figure out how to get him to do it. But anyway, the thing is we came across, you guys know who Tom House is? He is Nolan Ryan and Randy Johnson's pitching coach. He also played big league baseball. He has an app called Mustard app. And what he did is he figured out all the mechanics of what made these guys throw hard. And he also has an arm care program in that app. It's called Mustard, Mustard app. You can go on to Google or Android, and the other one, iPhone, the one I have, and download a free version. It'll have a little bit of arm care in there. We paid for the whole year for the videoing, and then it has an AI that does the mechanics and everything to show from the side view and the front view. And 2 months ago, we just had Richard from Seattle area. He is a Tom House Mustard certified coach come down, we got 25 kids, all the way up through high school, 2 kids in Ashland, a couple other high school kids in the Valley, a couple of junior high kids, and then we had 9 of our 9 pitchers all showed up to this camp. It was $150 for the camp, but it was well worth it because he gave the kids tutelage on what to look for when your arm is getting tired and everything like that. So if you guys don't know where to go for arm care, just look up Mustard app, Tom House, TOMHOUSE. He does know what he's doing, and as a matter of fact, the MLB's working with him and the NFL, because throwing a football and a baseball are very similar mechanics. And so if you got those 2 top sports working with them, working on arm care as well, he's at the top of the list when it comes to arm care.
You must know something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wow. I think that's important.
You said Nolan Ryan and you had my attention, and then you added Randy Johnson to it, and those are 2 like fierce pitchers. So you got my attention. I could have
faced both of them at their prime as a hitter.
I was just looking at that.
Just to see what I could do or couldn't do.
Randy, I would against Nolan, but Randy Johnson, he's killing birds out on the field. Woo! You know, I have this challenge, Justin, with everybody on the show. If I can I catch a major league pitcher?
Right.
And so actually everyone are naysayers. They say I can't do it, but so I've called up to an 83, 84, but I'd stand in and I'd catch for a major league pitcher, but Randy Johnson, that might scare me.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem catching a major league pitcher, except for if they added movement with the speed.
Yep.
Then I'd have a major problem. But give me 5-6 looks at the same pitch, I'd be like, okay, boom, I can catch up to it eventually, but not out of the gate, of course not.
Yeah, it's I would love the experience though. I think just standing and watching Nolan stare me down, that'd be priceless right there.
So give you a little bow tie.
I know it. Yeah. and then if I had a problem with it, to put me in a headlock and beat me down. So I'll never forget watching that video.
Robin Ventura got 6 hits in 1 inning off of Nolan Ryan. He's the only guy to do it. So there you go.
And Ventura is the one that went after him. So I mean, it was.
Gosh, that was talk about peer pressure. You heard the story about that, right?
I don't know if I've heard I was watching the game, but no, what's the story?
So Robin Ventura actually has like a little Instagram or TikTok clip on it.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently the 2 teams were like, hey, if he does something, go charge them out, right? Because I guess they hit one of their pitchers or batters or whatever.
Right.
And he talks about it, and I was shocked because he was really quiet about it for the longest time. So when I saw the video, I was like, wow, he actually spoke about this.
Yeah.
You got your butt kicked.
Yeah,
you know. But that's intellectual honesty on his part, saying, well, here's my side of the story. Yeah, I got my butt kicked, but I couldn't let my team down. So when he got buzzed, I guess, that's when he made the decision, I'm doing it for my team. And I'm like,
wow,
don't do it for you. Don't.
Jen, have you seen this video?
Team.
All right.
No,
so
you don't charge them out.
Oh, you need to go watch. So it's Nolan Ryan and Robin Ventura. They
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Is that when he gets in like this?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
it. That's
Yeah,
it.
I've seen it.
I was a Ranger fan at the time, and before I was a Canseco fan. So Canseco had went to the Rangers, so now I was a Rangers fan, and I couldn't stand Nolan Ryan before that. So then I was a Nolan Ryan fan, and I'm like, yeah, get him, beat him up.
Oh yeah.
But, man, that was a rough one though. That was like, to me, that's the mound charge visit, whatever you want to call it, that it just imprinted in my head. Like that's the one.
Well, yeah, that's
the helmet goes flying.
David going after Goliath, and Goliath won.
Yeah.
I went to the Kingdom up in Seattle as a kid. My dad commanded the 124th ARCOM up there for
Okay.
reserve. And so we'd be able to stay on base. Me and my brother played Nintendo while he commanded the unit on a Saturday and Sunday, and then we'd go watch baseball games Friday night, Saturday, and then Sunday. And Nolan Ryan, the Rangers came in, and Nolan Ryan was on that team, and I saw him I was down the third baseline shagging baseballs during batting practice, and he was walking down the first baseline. I looked across the ball field and I went, that man is huge. I mean, he was huge across the field. And with other people he was walking next to. And then he finally came by third baseline, because that's the opposing team's dugout. And I just looked at him just like this. I was just like, holy buckets. That is, he is a big, and he's proportionate.
Yeah.
He's proportionate. And I was just like, wow, no wonder he's
country boy.
Heat. Yeah.
Yeah. Country boy.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, Justin, man, hey, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Definitely love to have you back. Keep us in tune how this team does, man. I know you guys are getting started, but keep us in the loop and let us know how they're doing.
Yeah, we will. I will. How about sometime after probably June-ish, maybe?
Yeah.
Because we'll be about halfway through our season with 11 tournaments then, and I could give you a running tally of how we did.
Hey, that'll be great. And then we can bring a player or two on with you and they can tell us how things are going. So we love to talk to the players as well. So,
all right. Well,
thank you. Thank you again very much for all of our listeners out there. Thank you for tuning in with us. Although we are the #1 youth baseball podcast in the world, you have a lot of options to listen to out there. So thank you very much for taking the time to give us a listen. If you've got a superstar, you got a kid out there that you want to have us talk to, a coach, a parent, send them our way. We're looking for positive energy all over the world. So, all right, Jen, we're wrapping it up. So, Justin, again, thank you very much. Tell us how we can find you on social media.
Well, I'm on TikTok. Everything's Travel Baseball Coach Justin. So if you just type in Travel Baseball Coach Justin, you should find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. And I have a podcast. So Travel Baseball Coach, go on Spotify. I got 5 episodes on there. Interviewed a Major League Baseball player, a Southern Oregon University hitting coach, and a couple 10U coaches from around the country, and a tournament director. So I just have 5 podcasts in, and I love doing it. I didn't know how addicting it is.
It is.
And so when we're done here, hopefully I could chat with you, Aaron, and a little bit afterwards.
Of course. Well, awesome. Well, for everyone listening, thank you again. And until next time, Jen,
we'll catch you on the slide.